guys, Barbara here from BarbaraMakesCrafts.com. Welcome to my channel. Well, sublimation traditionally has been for material with a high polyester content, but there's a hack that's going around on TikTok and on YouTube that allows you to sublimate on 100% cotton. So this process uses DTF film, and DTF stands for direct to fabric, which usually requires a very expensive machine. But we're going to use DTF with DTF powder to sublimate on cotton. It's a really cool process. So let's head to Canva and get started. We'll create a design, go to custom, and 8.5 by 11. And once again, we'll go to uploads. And this is the one we're looking for. Our limit is 8.5. All right. So now, just because OCD, I want to center it on the page. It doesn't matter. It's going to print the same. So now we want to do a very, very important thing. If you don't do this step, it will not turn out right. So we're going to select our design, go up here to flip, and we're going to flip it horizontally. This is the same as reversing it when you're working with or turning the mirror on when you're working with your Cricut. All right, so now let's download it. All right, so we'll open it up here, and you can see your design. Everything fits on the paper really well. It does show up in your downloads folder in case you lose it. For some reason, I always lose things. Okay, so we'll just click on that right there and hit print. The thing about Canva is it is going to stay right there on your home page, whatever design. So if you lose it, you can always download it again. All right, so it wants to do landscape, and I want portrait. So now I'm just going to double check. I know I changed that printer, but okay. So now we'll just hit print, and that will take only a second to print. And while that's printing, I'm going to turn my heat press on and get it ready. I'm going to turn it to 385 and 40 seconds. All right, so here is what we're going to need for this project. So we're going to need some DTF paper or film, and I am using this. It's called Computer Graphics. I got it on Amazon. It is a little bit pricey, but I have found this to be the best at doing this project. So it says clear film for inkjet. So anyway, so this is what I used. They also have like a PET film that I've heard is good. I have not tried it yet though, so this is what I'm using. Now you will also need a transfer powder, and this again is on Amazon, and I'll link to all these down below. So this is called Dora transfer powder, and it says for DTF, which is direct to fabric, and DTG, which is direct to garment. It says for all DTF and DTG printing. So this is very important. You cannot make this without this powder. You're going to need, of course, a blank t-shirt. I do suggest white, guys, and you'll see why here in a few minutes. Actually, in my practice for this, I used my white t-shirts because I thought it was going to go a little smoother than it did. Hopefully it goes smoother for you when you try it. So you will need a blank t-shirt that's 100% cotton. You can do less cotton if you want, 90, whatever. But just know the higher the cotton content, the more that you're going to be amazed by this process, this sublimation process. So you'll also need your Cricut heat press or whatever heat press you have, clamshell press, easy press. other kind of heat press. I would not use a household iron, however, just because they don't maintain an even temperature. And if you use the steam function at all, it really is very difficult to get all that water out, and the moisture will keep your project from turning out right. So a heat press you will need. You'll need some heat resistant tape to hold your design down on your t-shirt before you heat it. You will need just a sheet. I'm using wax paper. You can use freezer paper, you can use cardstock, you can use copy paper, you can use aluminum foil, just any kind of paper. This is for when you put your powder on your film. This is to pour, kind of shake the excess onto and pour it back into your can, because again, this is about $20. You can make a ton of t-shirts, but you will need to save that excess from the t-shirts that you make. You're going to need some butcher paper. You're going to need about 4 layers of butcher paper to go on top of, I put it on top of my heat pad, which you will need. I put that inside my t-shirt. I put a piece of cardboard on top. You don't have to do the cardboard. I just did because this heat pad is kind of thick and flexible, and I was thinking that might be the reason my shirts weren't turning out. Turns out when I did use the cardboard, it did turn out a little better. But anyway, so that's pretty much how I layer it. And then I have the t-shirt and then the film. You will need a piece of copy paper because we take that to our DTF film to help it go through the printer. This is too light of a material to go through the printer, or it might be that it's clear. It just won't go through the printer without something being taped to it. So you'll need that, and you'll need a piece of cardstock to put on top of your design that's on top of your t-shirt before you press it. This is what we call a blowout sheet, because if there is any blowout from the sublimation, it will get on your heat press and you won't be able to get that off. You just might as well buy a whole new heat press when that happens. And I use just a cheap little paintbrush, because when you put that powder on the film and then you shake it off, of course, shake off the excess, there's still powder like around your design that kind of sticks to it. So I just use a cheap little paintbrush to get as much of that off as I can. All right, so I believe that is it. No. You'll also need a lint roller to roll across your t-shirt before you put your design down. And you'll need some kind of tape. I used, this is frog tape, sorry, I knew it was some kind of animal, to tape your copy paper to your DTF paper. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and turn my heat press on, and it is set to 385 for 40 seconds. So it's gonna take that a few minutes to heat up, and sometimes my heat press gives me an error while it's heating up, so I'm allowing time for that also. So we need to put our film onto our paper, and this film sort of has a little bit of a textured side, and then it has a smooth side. The textured side is very subtle, but you can tell a difference when you're doing both of them. So we want to just take this down to our copy paper, and I'm trying to get everything lined up just right. All right, so we're going to tape it down, and you want most of your tape to be on the back side, because if you get it too far down on the printed side, it will print on your tape. So I'm gonna just go ahead and just barely put it there onto that piece of paper, and then turn it over. We're stuck to the wax paper here. And I'm actually using sublimation paper, guys, instead of copy paper. And really, you can use either. I've always used copy paper, but the sublimation paper should work just as well. Because really, all you need is that white and that thickness. And this has, see, there goes my heat press, not wanting to act right. All right, so I'm gonna go put this on the printer and get started with our printing process.
A few moments later.
All right, so here it is, hot off the presses, as they say, fresh from the printer. And I'm gonna go ahead and just cover this with this DTF powder to get the best, get really good coverage, guys. You need every little thing covered. And most of this, you're just gonna pour right back into your, and I don't know if you can see that pretty, how it's all powdered up and ready to go. Now you can set it aside for now. If you would like to, you can come back to it. I'm gonna go ahead and get everything kind of set up, and then we'll do the pressing once my heat press heats up. Okay, so I want to get the t-shirt ready, and I know that when I recorded the part that had the materials, I was using a heat pad from 143vinyl.com, but I found my Cricut one and I like it better. I really do. Just because it's not flexible as the one from 143 Vinyl. I'm just gonna put it in aside my t-shirt. Where's my little, all right, so the heat press is ready to go. And I'm just gonna get the excess. Okay, so now we're gonna take it off of the paper, like so, and you can reuse the sublimation paper, copy paper, whatever, you can reuse it if you would like to. I usually don't, just because I can't figure out how to make the tape work, honestly. Okay, so let's roll get all the lint off of our shirt, just to be sure that nothing is there. Now, we want to take the direct-to-film paper, the graphics paper, like so, and I just want to hover over this. We're not going to touch it. I'm just going to get close to it and kind of hover over it, just to kind of get those crystals to start melting a little bit, to help our project along a little bit easier. And you don't really need to do this too long, maybe no longer than about 30 seconds. And guys, I really just thought about something, like you could, okay, so we've got that ready. This is ready to go. I want to just, maybe for 5 seconds, do that. Put the design, and rule of thumb is about, for an adult t-shirt, about 3 inches from the neckline. All right, so I'm gonna make sure that's straight. I'm gonna get my heat resistant tape, and just, you don't have to use a lot of tape, but you want to use enough so that it doesn't slide around while you're trying to iron it on. All right, so now we just put our heat press on, and we have it set for 40 seconds. All right, and you can see where I used a wax paper or something that stuck to the plate of my heat press. So just let this. All right, so I'm gonna do kind of a cool to the touch peel. I tried cold peel and it just doesn't come off easily from the shirt. Now these colors are not great. Once again, either. Some of it has this little shiny stuff. I think you can scrape that right off. So guys, there is my experience with this sublimating on cotton. I don't think this is the way I'm gonna go. But I do have another method that I'm gonna show you in the next video. And I am so excited, I can't wait to try it. So that was an easy and fun project. And you can make t-shirts like this for friends and family. And make them even to sell, Christmas gifts, whatever you want to. But I do suggest using a white t-shirt for the most vibrant colors. So if you got anything from this video, hit the like button below or shoot me a smiley emoji in the comments section. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a single video of crafty goodness. I am always available to help you. So if you have any questions or concerns, comments, my Facebook group is the best place to do that. And if you make any of these projects, just post a pic. I'd love to see what you're making. And chances are you can do it better than me. So that is all I have for now. Until next time, happy crafting.